Thank you so much. She's an advocate for culture and has brought together a team of dedicated individuals to give children a brighter future through a planned center serving children who are lost in the world, either plagued by physical or mental abuse. Her vision, which is incredible, is to provide shelter and a second chance by establishing educational programs centered around arts, which I'm looking forward to hearing more about. Now we welcome Ms. Felicite. Welcome to the podium.
What a pity, huh? To hear like story of the women of Africa going through all those things. It breaks our heart because women is a mode of humanity. She shouldn't be suffered the way African women are suffering. Africa is a huge continent housing 56 countries. I'm from Chad, one of the many countries in Central Africa. And what I'm about to talk about is the problem that we're facing today. That problem is not just affecting Chad, it's affecting all countries all around the world. Like my sisters just talk about it, like Africa is a pity. That problem is the abuse of young girls and women. In Chad, like in most other countries in Africa, women come second. They do not have right to speak their mind, especially when men are around. All family issues are decided by men, leaving women without an opinion. Does anybody know which place in the world is considered the best for a woman to live? Did anybody know? According to an article entitled Women in the World, published by Newsweek in 2011, that country is Iceland. At that time, Iceland had a 96.7 percentile of women being educated. In this same article, do you know which country was considered the worst for women to be living? I'm sorry to tell you, but that's my country. Chad. Based on 5 categories, Chad has the lowest percentage in education, justice, healthcare, politics, and economy. I am sure we all agree that education should be the focus to ensure a positive future for kids. Many young girls by age of 15 are forced into arranged marriages, robbing them of the opportunity of going to school. It's not the responsibility of adults to provide for a child so they can enjoy childhood. These young women should be learning and growing into adulthood through schooling and life experiences. But instead, they are forced to wake up at 5 a.m., clean the house, preparing the meals, while the boys are sleeping, playing game, and going to school. This is one of the many examples of injustice that we as women deal with, in addition to low infant mortality, which in some cases can lead to maternal death, HIV infection, and domestic violence. There is one universal truth applicable to all countries, cultures, and communities. Violence against women is never acceptable, never excusable, and never tolerable. I'm going to ask one thing to the audience. In one voice, all of us will say this. Violence against women is never acceptable, never excusable, and never tolerable.
Violence against women is never acceptable, never excusable, and never acceptable.
Thank you. I want to share experience that happened last week. My mom called me to explain it to me. A guy come from work, get into a fight with his wife. He broke her arm. She went to see one of the lawyer to explain the situation. So the lawyer take an appointment for cautioning the men. When he went to see her, all he has to say is like, I was drunk. That's why I broke her arm. Do you guys want to know what happened? They keep him in jail for 2 hours. That's it. 2 hours for all the thing he did. He broke an arm. This is who he calls my wife. This is who he shared his life with. This is who he has 3 kids with. And we have this organization that we call FCI, Flame of Culture International. We established this organization to help young women. Because women, we are sisters. We are mothers. We shouldn't be going through all this violence that we are going through. We should be enjoying our life like men. We should be going to school, getting education. Did anybody see a lawyer's woman? Yes, right? But why can't African, I don't know, like when you compare the situation, like when you compare United States, Iceland, Canada, there's less of women in Africa that go to school, like being doctors, being lawyers, being like a case of Mauritania that we just hear, that broke my heart. And I'm like, why did women have to go through this? Don't we have the same right that men? Are we not breathing the same air that they are breathing? We're not supposed to go through all those things. And I'm going to finish with the last case of my best friend. Coming from her internship 3 years ago, she got raped with by 5 men. She went through coma. They left her there for 7 hours. Nobody knows what's going on. Until one morning, a young guy found her on the street and took her to the hospital. What the doctor has to ask? What happened to her? I don't know. And then she started regaining conscience, and all she has to say is like, all I know is like, I got picked up on the street, and then later on when I opened my eyes, like, I don't know what happened to me, and I can't even recognize myself. The doctor say, you may be went through rape. So for us to take care of you, we need the the police report before we see you. They left the girl on the table for more than 18 hours, not taking care of her. And all she has to find out now today is a sad story. She has an HIV. If this doctor could have seen her the moment this young boy bring her at the hospital, maybe he could have saved her life. He let the virus get into her for 18 hours. How could women being successful in a country like Chad, when we see women as a second, women don't have any right to say anything. Women don't have a right to say, listen, we have to decide the future of our daughter. We have to send her to school. The father will say, did you go to school? What do you have to tell me? Like, what do you know better than I do? If you send her to school, are you sure she's gonna have a husband? Because husbands don't want a woman that can dominate them. Intelligent women, men don't want it. So forget it. I want to see my future in-law. That is how to respond. So honestly, like I say, my name is Felicite Ngalndoh, CEO of Flame of Culture International, and our vision is to overcome injustice through education. FCI will be the voice of the voiceless, advocating for our kids, sisters, and mothers. We need you to join us in our fight against abuse toward young girls and women. That's why for more information, we'll ask you to go on our website, which is www.flameci.org. And I want to thank Ms. Drami for inviting us here. And we thank everybody, audience, and anyone that take his time to come here to assist us. Thank you.